understand that men can actually and categorically ruin your life.
That young lady is absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I want to tell you about the kind of men that you need to watch out, because these are the kind of men that could really, really ruin your life. And of course, I'm not talking about abusers. They're absolutely, like, that's an obvious one. I'm not even talking about the cheaters. Like, these are obvious ones, right? I'm going to talk to you about the silent killers. The ones that you're probably, you're not going to be peeping for a little bit. Like, you're going to be like almost gaslighting yourself. And you're going to be like, huh? But these are the kind of men that will ruin your life. And I'm going to tell you, because I literally was married to all type 3 of these. Okay. So let me tell you. So the first man that will absolutely ruin your life is the incompetent man. Incompetence costs money, time, energy, all that. Incompetence costs it. This kind of man, he's going to not be able to do anything. He's going to be like just a fool. Like, he's going to be doing things the wrong way, which ends up making you spend money to fix it. He's going to do things so bad that you're like, I can't even trust you to do it. So now you're going to have to worry about how it's going to get done. Like, you're going to take over that because he's not able to do it. Or you're going to pay for somebody else to take over it because he's not able to do it. You will not have peace because you will literally be out and about, and then you'll be thinking about the thing that needs to get done that you know is not going to get done because the incompetent man is not going to be able to do it in the way that it needs to be done. That in itself is dangerous. Do you know how much mental energy that takes to be with a person like that? Do you know how much money it costs to rectify the mistakes that incompetent person has done? Watch out for the incompetent man. The first sign you get of a person that is not only unable to do something, but is not able to take directions and apply it, get on out of there. He about to ruin your life. The next kind of man that's going to ruin your life is the miserable man. And, I'm not talking about, like, we could all go through a period where, things are not working out for us, that we, life is life, right? Life's for everybody. But the way that we handle how life and the way we respond to life's misfortunes really says a lot about us. And this type of man, misery is his identity. Misery is his crutch. Misery is literally what he uses to victimize himself. So that way, he essentially can be taken care of. So the miserable man, they will drain the fuck out of your energy. The miserable man, as long as he's miserable, you cannot have happiness. You cannot have good news. You cannot excel because that is unfair. He's supposed to be the center of attention. He is supposed to be the one that's doing well, not you. And so he can't even celebrate your wins. So what's going to happen is you as a woman, you're going to start shrinking yourself. You're going to start minimizing your successes. You're going to start minimizing your achievements because you're afraid of offending the miserable man, because everything has to be about him. What's going to happen is you're going to be walking on eggshells. You're going to be trying to constantly, you're going to spend so much more energy in making sure you don't offend him, that energy that could have went into actually making all the great things happen for yourself, it's getting produced over here. It's getting pushed aside over here. And as that happens, all of your achievements and stuff, it starts to slowly dwindle because you're so busy worried about him. Like, it drains your energy so much, because it's not just about us receiving good news. It's about who we tell. Like, I remember I forget where I read it before, but it was like, good news and achievements is one thing, but how somebody respond, like, that's why they say, like, to be cautious about who you tell your good news, because the way that person can respond can either, like, times it by 10, or it can just immediately diminish it or crush it, right? So the miserable man will ruin your life because every time that you have something good going for yourself, he's going to find a way to sabotage it. Every time that you have a moment for yourself, he's going to find a way to take that shine off of you, to center himself with his misery and becoming a victim. You will never know peace. So watch out for the miserable man. He will ruin your life. And lastly, and this one is very important. This one is very, very important. Okay. Very, very important. And I talk to my students about this all the time. The man that lacks accountability, baby, his burden will become yours to bear. The man that does not take accountability, ownership over all of the poor choices that he has made, better believe that he's going to put that burden onto you. Those poor decisions that he made is going to become your poor decisions. And the way, because we live in such a patriarchal society, you will automatically get blamed. And not only will he put that on you, society will back him up on that. Society will surely back him up on that. Look, examples are all around, baby. Look at what happens when we have a father who is not taking care of his kids. Who gets the burden? The woman does. The mom. She gets the blame too. When it was his poor decision of not being a father that caused the mess. But you get the blame, right? Let's take kids out of it. Let's take kids out of it. What this person does is they make poor choices. When the poor choices result in consequences, they then find ways to make you at fault of it, right? So let's say this man is late for work, right? He did not get up on time. He missed his alarm. Maybe he was just dialing too much, right? He ends up becoming late. He's going to say that it was your fault that he was late because maybe you didn't wake him up. Oh, so now you're in your mind like, oh, let me try to wake him up. Oh, it's because you took too long in the bathroom. Now, again, you're going back to the shrinking and you're adjusting yourself because he does not want to take accountability, right? And then going back to the child thing, this is what we do, right? You have women that this man chose not to be a father. And so now you're going to try to be mother and father because you're trying to take on the burden that they just left. And so I say this, like I literally had all three of these types that I was married to. And I stayed for 4 years, and baby, that almost ruined my life. Like I could not tell y'all, like I remember being at a point where I was struggling. I was overworking myself. I was not mentally well. I was very unhappy. Everybody noticed it. Like everybody noticed how my light was literally dimming. And I remember my friend was like, man, he is like the storm. Like she was like, he's like a cloud. She's like, you're like a sun and he's like a cloud that's just blocking your sunlight. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that, because when she said that, that planted a seed, and that made me turn internally and be like, you know what? Yes, because that's when we're talking about men, how they can ruin your life. That's what happens. They can steal your light. And the three type of men that I just listed, they will slowly steal your light. And by the time you recognize that it's gone, you're just like, how? Like, oh shit, like, how did I even get here? Like, what happened to me? You'll really sit there and be like, what happened? And then you'll have to think back like, oh, this started since day one. I just didn't see it because it's so small. And you'll have people try to tell you like, oh, it's not that deep. Oh, it's not that serious. Well, maybe he, and well, probably, and no. The first moment that you even see a little bit of incompetence, get out of there. The first moment that you even peep how that misery is mishandled, get out of there. The first moment that that man refuses to take accountability for his actions, get out of there. Because you are doomed for a lifetime of just being drained and sucked dry. And the crazy thing is, once you are sucked dry, this person will have the nerve to say, oh, you changed. You're not the same. I don't want to be with somebody like you anymore. I need to be somebody who's better. And they'll restart the cycle. So when you get a chance, you get out of there. And you fill yourself back up. Because that's what I did. I filled myself back up. And you find yourself a man who's going to add to that. My man that I'm with now, he's the clear skies to my sunny days. He's the person that's going to make sure that everything is okay so that I can have the mental space to succeed. That's the person you want to be with. But watch out for those three types. Those three types, I'm telling you. Because they're not the ones that you see coming. They're the ones that you're like, I wonder. And you're right. You're wondering, right? I feel, and I'm here to validate you. You're feeling what you're feeling is right. It's accurate. So, yeah, be careful, because stay safe, ladies, because it's real out here.